medications.
Well, on the line now, I have Lorelei Matthias from Hove, who has ADHD and who takes medication to manage her condition. She's an author, comedian, and creator of the online comedy show Life in ADHD. I mean, it's all very well, isn't it, Lorelei, telling people not to panic, but if you rely on this medication, then it's difficult not to be concerned by these reports, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing I said before was that it's already really challenging getting your medication with ADD. I find it like a kind of crystal maze admin zone to get it. And it's for people that clinically can't do admin, like we really struggle with organisation, prioritising, setting reminders. So the whole thing is like an assault course already. So the thought of it being any harder is terrifying.
Yeah. What kind of a difference do the meds make to you in your life?
It's worth saying to anyone that hasn't got them yet, it's not a magic. It's not magic straight away. You do have to try out loads of different ones and get the right balance. But for me, it helps me with focus and trying to do one thing at a time. Because I do have this habit of just starting one thing and then doing a million things all at the same time, and just losing things a lot. I think I definitely lose possessions less than I used to. I can't get off a train without someone saying, "Excuse me, is this your scarf?" And I definitely, I used to spend sort of a day a month on just what I call lost min, replacing all my missing items, the admin of lost things. But that does improve. Yeah. And just generally, I mean, getting work done is the hardest thing. Just because I'll start writing an email and then I'll think, no, actually, there's something more urgent I should be doing, and then I'll check mid-sentence, I'll stop what I'm doing and cross them and start another task. And it's very overwhelming, and then you quickly get into a panic. But what the medication does is it speeds up the part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that are the area of our brain in charge of prioritising, organising, all of those things that sort of neurotypical brains work better. They're more developed, they've got more dopamine. Because ours is lacking, we take the medication to speed up that bit of the brain. But if you don't have that, then you're just left being your normal sort of chaotic self.
Yeah. That's the awful irony here, isn't it? That the chances are, if you have ADHD, you probably have left it to the last minute to go and get your meds.
I know.
And then you're going to turn up and they're going to tell you there's none available, or there's a wait, or what have you. It's not a good situation at all.
No.
Now, the government say it's because of a demand globally, demand going up. Do you think that's because more people are being diagnosed with ADHD? And if so, why is that, do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely down to that. And I would say that's because the huge increase in diagnosis is that I think in COVID, all these people it was like a coming out party for lots of people. I mean, for me, I've known for sort of decades, but we've all been, I think with women, we exhibit ADD in a very different way to men, and we've felt like we had to mask for years. So we've all been masking since way before COVID, wearing masks, and we've slowly been taking them off and realizing actually we can just be ourselves, but we could have a helping hand to manage when we struggle. And that's been the life-changing thing, is being able to admit that this isn't actually normal. This isn't how everyone's brains function. This is a real challenge, and if we can have help with that, then it's, the things I've achieved now that I'm getting help and getting medication are just demonstrably, less stressful and less burnout.
And good for you for speaking out about it, because I think things are getting better, but I certainly remember doing a show a few years ago where we were talking about specifically ADHD in children. And I was really taken aback by the ignorance out there. People go, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's just an excuse for bad behaviour. What a load of nonsense. We never had ADHD back in my day," and all of that. Yeah. As I say, I think things are improving, but it is really important that people understand that some people's brains just work differently.
Yeah, there's a line in an Aaron Sorkin sitcom that says, like, "Oh, in my day, people were just stupid," and it's like, no, I mean, it's definitely about understanding that the brain works differently, and I always say it's an explanation, not an excuse. It's not a kind of get out of jail free card of, "Oh, I'm going to be late today because I can't bother to come in." It's actually, we function different in the morning. Like I feel like I've been in a coma when I wake up in the morning because I've less dopamine, less cortisol. I have to take medication to then function, and it's really hard. But then as soon as I'm going, I'm like a,
can't stop you then. She's off.
Yeah. There's a symptom where they say is driven like she's on a motor. I'm like, I can't stop doing a million things. I'm very motivated, but the important thing is that I always say is to anyone that can't get their medication, don't forget that like comedy is the best med of all. Like that's our sort of like modus operandi with the comedy I've been making. Meloncomedy.com it's realising that actually the symptoms we have are hysterically funny. They're horrendous and horrific, but they're also very, very funny. And if you can share your silly thing that you did that day, like washed up your birthday cake by accident or locked yourself out even though you've got a set of keys across the road that you forgot you had. I mean, these are all things I've done. But, I can either go mad and get very depressed and go to a very dark place, or I can share it with people and laugh. And that's how I've chosen to survive, is to make comedy out of it.
I like your attitude, Lorelei.
One of the funniest.
There's a lot to be said for it. I mean, out of interest, how many pills have you got left?
How many? What I have to do is I have to stash them in different places for myself because I forget where I've put them. So I'd have to sit and count them all up.
Right. But what we're talking,
like
you got a few weeks left, do you think, or?
I hope, hopefully, yeah.
Right.
But I have started rationing them because if I have a day of a lot of travel or a lot of work deadlines or a lot of packing or organising, then I'll take more. But if I haven't got that on and it's a weekend day and I'm just relaxing, I won't take one, because that's not to say I wouldn't advise doing that with the long life, the ones that take time to bed in.
Yeah, well, some of them have kind of instant effects, don't they? Yeah, and some, as you say, are kind of slow release. So the advice really is... the advice really is, check with your GP, check with your pharmacist, and if you are concerned, I would get that call into your GP really sooner rather than later. Lorelei Mathias from Hove. It's 19 minutes past 8.
Helping to make